What's up, guys? Thanks for checking out my channel. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on all my videos. I make videos every 2 or 3 days or so talking about crypto and the NASDAQ and just my personal opinions on where I think price is going to go, and just talking about current price action and just different trade setups and stuff like that. So subscribe so you don't miss those. Like the video so this video can get out to more people. And also, if you're into day trading, I have been day trading for the last few months and just specifically focusing on futures because I've mostly just been a swing trader and more of a longer term trader these last few years. And starting this year, I wanted to shift more towards day trading also. So I got into futures, and I am currently doing some prop firm trading. And I've done a few videos so far, and I'll be doing those again starting back Monday. And I'm going to do those every day, just showing the process of how to day trade flag patterns and how to get payouts from prop firms. So make sure you stay up to date with that if you're interested. I'm just going to stick with a simple strategy and just talk about a lot of different stuff that I learned along the way and that I've learned in the last few years. So check those out. And for today's video, I just want to talk about crypto because last night I was looking at the charts and I erased all the lines off my charts. I've had the same lines on there for months, and I just felt like I needed to refresh it. So I erased all the drawings on all my charts for crypto and just started back from scratch, just looking at different levels, looking at different patterns, and just trying to pinpoint where we are in the current cycle, because I was so dead set on us being at a certain point in the cycle that I was just for sure. And just the current price action started kind of making me think. I was like, hold on, we might be not as far along in the cycle as I originally thought. So I just started from scratch again, and so this is what I found. So let's check out the charts. And in my opinion, we're not as far along in the cycle as a lot of people were thinking. A lot of people are already starting to panic, thinking that we could be hitting a top on Bitcoin. And I just don't think that's the case. So let me show you why. Okay, so this is the weekly chart for Bitcoin. And this is the current weekly candle. So my candles are white and blue instead of green and red, but this is a red week. So that candle will close tomorrow. Most likely that's going to be a red week. So that's fine. Pullbacks are normal. That's just part of it. But as you can see here, we had this kind of falling wedge, huge bull flag pattern right here. And we broke out to the upside. And we've kind of been in this red box that I've got drawn here. We had this huge flag pattern here, and we broke out, and we found a little resistance up here, which is normal because this was an all-time high. We tested it a couple of times. It takes a few times to break through a new level sometimes. So here we are rejecting again, and in my opinion, we're just going to have a minor pullback. You know, even if we pull back to just under like 100,000, like 97,000, 98,000 or something. You know, we've got these support lines here at these red lines. So I'm thinking we might pull back somewhere around in here. We don't even have to pull back that much. We may have this week red and then next week bust right through there. That's possible. And I personally think that we're going to hit somewhere up here around 250,000, maybe 280. But anywhere from $250,000 to $300,000 is the price target for Bitcoin, in my opinion. And let me show you why. So if we go back to the previous cycle, this was 4 years ago. The Bitcoin cycle has been going in 4 year. It's a 4 year cycle. Has been since Bitcoin's been around, as far as I know. So this was the pattern from the last time. So this was the peak of the bull run in 2017. We had the bear market hit the bottom, and then momentum shifted back to the upside. So we had this one big wave here, this second big wave here, and then this third big wave here. Now if you go to the daily time frame, that looks more like 5 or 6 waves, but on this weekly chart it's basically a 1, 2, 3, and then we peaked out up here for the bull run, the last bull run, and it was peaked out in like 2021. So this huge run up, this huge falling wedge flag pattern, we broke out, kind of rode across the top of that, and then bounced up here where I've got this red box. We formed this huge triangle pattern right here, right above that falling wedge. And as you see, I've got this green little path line here where we did this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is like an impulse Elliott wave on the weekly time frame. So that's your 1, your 2, that's like a sideways correction, your 3, and then if you go in on the daily time frame, this is probably like an ABC or zigzag or something. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 is this corrective wave here, and then 5 is a huge impulse where we just went absolutely crazy. So we broke out of this huge triangle pattern, you know, and that huge triangle pattern was right after this falling wedge, huge bull flag. And right in here within this red box, we've got this bull flag pattern here that played out perfectly, and we went to the upside. And we had several months, or at least 5 or 6 more months of just a huge run. That was the main part of the bull run. So we peaked out in 2021, you know, here at like 60,000, 63,000. Got a little bit higher here for that double top. And then the bear market, okay? Bottom of the bear market, let's get both of these on here. Bottom of the bear market, just like back here. Now this move is nowhere near as steep as back here, but you gotta think, there's way more money in Bitcoin through here than there was back here. The market cap has grown big time, there's way more interest. The world starts adopting Bitcoin, big money players start dumping money in there, countries, governments start putting money in there. The more money that's in there, the kind of slower the momentum goes. It has way more momentum, but it kind of it's off to a slower start. So it takes longer for it to get going, and it's way harder for like a parabolic move to happen because the market cap is so much bigger. So we had this run up here, huge falling wedge bull flag, and then got up here in this red box, formed this triangle pattern, had that huge bull flag here, and now we are at the top of this red box once again. So right back here is where we are now, in my opinion. So let me just kind of circle this. Let's see, use the highlighter, like right here, okay? And we're coming up on that spot right here. So that's where I think we are right now. We're just starting to break out past this previous high, like right here. That's my opinion, and this all lines up, you know, pretty well. So we don't necessarily have to make a move that big. We may not, and it may not be as parabolic of a move as that. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. You know, this could be a slower grind to the upside, just like this move here was a slower grind to the upside. But this triangle pattern is way bigger than this triangle pattern. So, you know, we could go past my target, or we could come up short. It doesn't really matter. The point is, a lot of people are panicking here at this top, thinking that we might be here because we kind of peaked out here, had this move down, double topped. So a lot of people are thinking this was this, and we're here in this phase right now. But I don't really think so, because if you see here, you know, there was 2 huge weekly candles pushing down here. A lot of people sold here. when we got up here, we had this huge rejection candle, pushed up a little higher, and then we had 3 bearish weeks in a row, and then we formed this bear flag on the weekly, came down even more. So like right here we had this kind of rising wedge pattern, and then over here we formed this huge bear flag. So this is just what I'm thinking, you know, because over here we haven't really had that yet. I mean, this, you know, this doesn't really look like a top pattern as much as this to me. And in here, we didn't just dump straight off. We had consolidation, which to me, that makes me think price wanted to go higher, but buyers didn't want to buy at that price because we were basically at all-time highs. So we just needed to come down and grab more liquidity. And there was a lot of demand back here. And then we popped right back up. So I could be wrong, and this area could be this area, but I don't really think so. It's just not looking like that to me, because this huge bull flag falling wedge and this huge bull flag falling wedge, whatever you want to call it, and this pattern, it's just too spot on. So that's where I think we are in the cycle as far as Bitcoin goes. And if we click over to Ethereum and look at the previous cycle, see how we hit the bottom of the bear market right here, and after the bull market in 2017, this was 2018, we hit the bottom of the bear market, and we had this, where this green path is, we had this 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 bottomed out, hit a lower low, and then we started the main part of the bull run on Ethereum. Okay, so now let's go to where we can see both of these. So we had the bottom of the bear market in 2022. We had this 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 made a lower low, and now we're starting this. So in my opinion, where I've got this blue box is the same spot as this blue box. Now this time Ethereum seems to be lagging behind Bitcoin a lot more than it did the last time, because last time when Bitcoin was breaking out of that, where I've got that red box, Ethereum was already up in here somewhere in this yellow box. So either we're lagging way behind compared to the last cycle, which is possible, or Ethereum's just going to have a way shorter run than the last time, but I don't think that's going to happen. There's a lot of good stuff in the works for Ethereum, and a lot more money's in it than ever before. A lot more interest in all cryptos. So I think we're right here. This blue box, this blue box. The patterns line up perfectly, and you know, based on what Bitcoin's doing, to me, I don't think Bitcoin's hitting a top just yet. And Ethereum has not even made a new all-time high yet. You know, back here, the all-time high for Ethereum was like 4,800. We haven't even made a new all-time high yet. So when Ethereum starts catching up to Bitcoin, and we actually get up here in this yellow box and make a new all-time high for Ethereum, then that's when I think all the smaller coins are just going to be going insane. So I think the smaller coins are also lagging behind Ethereum, and this is just normally how the cycles work. Bitcoin leads. When Bitcoin hits a new level where demand runs out, people take their profits, rotate their profits over into Ethereum. Same thing, Ethereum hits an area where demand runs out, people take their profits, roll it over into the smaller coins, like the top 10, top 20 altcoins. Those hit a certain level, then people roll them over into even smaller cap coins. So And then Bitcoin is usually done with its pullback or correction, and then they rotate their money back into Bitcoin. It's kind of like a cycle. So this is all just lining up perfectly. So that's why I don't think we're anywhere near a top, because Ethereum has not even made a new all-time high. It hasn't even broken past the high of the previous bull run. So, and nobody's talking about crypto except for, you know, me and other people that actually pay attention to this crap. So nobody just out in the general public is running around talking about buying crypto. So that's how we know, that's one of the main indicators of how we know the top's not in. When the top's in, crypto will be the most popular topic in the workplace. Everywhere you go, people's talking about crypto, and that hasn't happened yet. So that's just one more thing that lines up with all this. So now let's hop over to Dogecoin, because Dogecoin is the king of the meme coins, and let's see where it's at compared to its previous cycle. So previous cycle for Doge. Okay, so right here's where momentum started shifting towards the upside after this bear market and then the sideways market here. We had this, see this green path? We had this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, final pullback here for 6, and then that 7th wave is where we went on that massive, huge run, and we had this triangle pattern. So once we broke out of that triangle pattern, which acted as resistance right here, because that was a major resistance, just like, you know, all across here, that played like a major resistance level. Okay, so we broke out, went on the huge bull run, bear market, sideways market, and then what do we have here? From here, we had this 1, 2, just like here, 1, 2, and I'm not counting this because, as you can see right in here real close, we had that same thing right here. So here, and there is a little zigzag in there, so, you know, 1, 2, 3, or ABC, little tiny correction, but this is the weekly time frame, so that's kind of harder to see back here because market cap was so small, the move is a lot smaller. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So back here we tested the top of that triangle pattern one more time after this. So the peak of this green path line right here, you know, we did break out of that with that little quick wick, but those moves, you know, were way more volatile because the market cap was so much smaller then. So this top here is this top, in my opinion. You know, do your own research, see what you think, but, you know, we had this little bear flag pattern here, bear flag pattern here. We came down and formed a bottom right here. Perfect bottom pattern here. So in my opinion on Doge, we are currently right around here. So if this is right, which all this lines up too perfectly, it's almost scary how perfect it lines up, but if this is right, over the next couple of weeks to a month, anywhere in there, these moves can happen fast or they can take some time depending on what Trump's doing. So in the near future, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that, we should see a push from Doge up to about 46 or 47 cents, 45 to 47 cents over the next few weeks. And if this is right, then we will have one more final pullback to test this support, which is right here. We'll have one more pullback to test that support, and that will probably be around anywhere from 20 to 25 cents. And then we start that parabolic run. And that should line up perfectly with Bitcoin. Bitcoin should have already made a huge run by then, and be in a pullback, something like what Doge did here or here. Bitcoin will probably be forming some kind of big flag pattern or a big pullback. And at that time, money will be rotating over to Ethereum. Ethereum will start to make that run. And once Ethereum makes that little run, these coins will be set to explode. Doge, I'm just showing because that's the most popular meme coin. But SHIB, Pepe, Bonk, Ape, XRP, which XRP is that's pretty much like Bitcoin and Ethereum now. Market cap's so big, so I don't really count that as one of these small altcoins, but that's just where it happens to be on my watch list. But all the meme coins, Avalanche, these gaming tokens, they will all be exploding in just a matter of time. So if I'm right, we should see Doge and all the other coins. Bitcoin will go first. So Bitcoin is probably about to break out starting next week or the week after. Bitcoin should be breaking out and going for a huge run within the next couple of weeks, if this is right. Once Bitcoin starts on that move, these coins should pump. Doge should hit 45 to 47 cents. And then we'll see that one last pullback. Huge run. It's crazy. I thought we were further along in the cycle until I just decided to erase all my drawings last night and start fresh just in case, because I thought we were right here. I thought we were right there, and I think I was wrong, because if we go to the daily time frame, we had this huge pattern here. Okay, and I thought that pattern was this, but I was actually wrong, and that was actually back here. So the pattern, it's a little different back then because the market caps were different, like I said, but that's basically the same. But I was wrong. So that's a good thing, because we're not even as far along in the cycle as I thought. I thought we were here about to start exploding, but we're actually probably a few weeks behind there. We just formed this bottom, and we're about to pump up here to the top of this triangle one more time. Then we'll have that pullback, just like this green line shows. That's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Don't bet the farm on it just because that's my opinion. But I am still buying crypto. I was done buying crypto because I thought we were about to start that final pump. But since we've had this pullback, and that's a perfect level, in my opinion, to be buying some crypto. Major support right here after this inverse head and shoulders pattern. We should form a little bottom here, and it could take some time, or it could explode really quick. There's no way to tell how quick this is going to play out, but the way I've got this drawn, this shows sometime in July we could be hitting 45 to 47 cents. But it doesn't have to play out just like that. It could happen back here. It could happen in June. It could be 3 or 4 weeks out. It could be 2 weeks out. I don't know. It's hard to say, exactly when this stuff's going to happen. But that looks like everything's lining up perfectly. So leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. Do you think this is accurate? Did you think this is where we were at in the current cycle? Did you think we're topping out? What did you think? Let me know. But I feel really confident in this. It's a good idea to always do your charts for your long-term trades and long-term investments. It's a good idea to do your charts, do your drawings, your analysis, and then leave it alone. Come back weeks later, kind of reevaluate them, see if everything still lines up like you originally thought. And if you question it at all, just erase all your drawings and start from scratch, and because sometimes it ends up being too busy. My charts were getting real busy and I had a bunch of different stuff going on. So I erased everything and I started with just major supports, major resistance, and just the major waves. So I went to the weekly chart and I just drew the major waves, went back to the previous cycle, drew the major waves, and I was like, holy crap, I think I was wrong. I don't think we're as far along in the cycle as I originally thought. So this might be a perfect time to add more to my position. So that's what I did. That's what I'm doing. You know, do what you want, but that's what I think. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel. I'm going to keep doing updates. You know, I'm going to leave these drawings alone and see how this plays out. And once we get back up there to the top of that triangle, you know, I'm going to watch and see if another little top forms and see if that next little pullback is likely, to see if I was right. If so, I'll watch it when we pull back to the bottom of the triangle, major support again. And I'm just going to keep a close eye on it. You know, I have these alerts set so that when we break this high, I get notified. I have an alert here just in case for some crazy reason we drop below this level. You know, I'll save that. If we spike down there somehow real quick, you know, that's a perfect opportunity to buy a whole lot of Doge in my opinion. So that's what I'm doing. And you know, check out my next video. I'll have a video out Monday for trading futures. I'm going to start trading some new Tradify accounts and work my way towards getting those funded. So, you know, check that one out. Check out my other videos. I upload some short videos once in a while just to do quick updates on crypto. But I wanted to do a longer video for this one just to go in more depth and show everybody why I think that's where we are in this current cycle. So let me know if it makes sense. Thanks for watching. Until next time, peace out.